it does a lot of things for your psyche. And, our guys, like I said afterwards, regardless of the opponent, to have an opportunity to win, for this group this year speaks volumes. And we're trying to do things to put it together so we can have more successes on the field. But regardless of the opponent, this was the game we had to play that was scheduled. Didn't particularly play great in the first half, but played, well enough. And then in the second half, did a really good job on both sides of the ball. And the special teams aspects really stepped up for us. So anytime you win, that helps boost your confidence. And we're looking for, as we talked about when we first started, some series of successes, found it off the field in the classroom and things like that. Now we're trying to find it again on the field to turn the program around in the direction we want. So we'll take the win, and now we got to go to work and work even harder for this group that's coming in, because they're very athletic. Coach Shannon has got him going where he wants his program to go. Well, one of the goals was, as we talked about the week before, about chances when you get down in the red zone to score, and the third down percentage. I think we're 7 for 14, which is 50%, which is excellent. And then 2 for 2 on fourth down. Obviously, one was a pass, and the one was Jimmy Howell's pass on the fake punt there. But that's always important. And the third down situation is important. But I think going into this game with Miami, it's going to be important that we make first downs, stay on the field, and not, because they do a great job running the ball, is not keep the defense on the field a long time, because they have two dynamic backs. The offensive line is big, and they're very accomplished offense. But if we can get first downs, hey, it's 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4 is not bad. We just don't want a 2nd and 10 and 3rd and 10, because it plays into what they do. I think they're 4th in the country in sacks. They're 1st in the country in tackles for losses. So those first down opportunities for us are going to be important. Their skill positions are dynamic, with the receivers. They have two outstanding running backs that are big and can get after it. And then the quarterback. The quarterback is the guy that distributes the ball to their playmakers. And on the other side, defensively, like I said, when you lead the country in tackles for losses, that means you got some guys up front that are penetrating and coming off the edge and doing some things to create those 2nd and long and 3rd and longs, which we don't need. And then I think they're 4th in the country in sacks, because they have guys that can rush inside their 300-plus pounders, and they push the pocket pretty well. So it's a team that presents challenges on all three aspects. They have one guy that does all kicking chores. He kicks, field goals, kickoff, and he does a pretty good job at doing that. And the skill that they have covering and the skill that they have returning, they're good. So all aspects, Jerry, what they do, when they're on, they play pretty well. And we've definitely got to play our best game. We can't start slow. We can't get in those 2nd and long situations. We got to stay out of those things, because this is the type of team that thrives on that. So we'll have to be creative in moving the ball around, doing things up front to stop the run, and just play as many people as we can, because they got some big guys up front that just the road graders that just keep going and going. He's a tall, long, lean, athletic quarterback that actually would rather stay in the pocket and throw the ball downfield to his skill players rather than take off and run. And I know Coach Whipple was the head coach at UMass, and my son was there, Brandon, when he played there, so I know a little bit about him. Coach Reed, being at UMass and Richmond and different places, has played against him, and I know that he wants the quarterbacks to have success in distributing the ball, and you're right, when he is on, he's on, and just hopefully he'll be off, on this Saturday. Cam has had a good year in terms of learning how to rush, how to pass rush, how to be disruptive. He plays a lot of plays, so he's on the field because he's one of your playmakers. I think there's more that Cam can give, and I'm going to ask more of him, because he's going to have to play better and give more as we start going down the stretch here. People talk about, big-time players make big plays in big games, and, he's going to have to be one of those guys as we go down the stretch, providing a pass rush. He does a nice job, really good job versus the run. When you're straining against those big guys versus the run, and it gets down to a 3rd and 10, and you got to muster up all the strength you can to rush off the edge and do it consistently. When he can do that consistently, then we'll talk about him being something special. But right now, he's learning how to put his hands in the ground and do those things. So like everyone else, the second half of the season, looking for him to raise his level, all of us to raise our level. I think, like a lot of these guys, with a little change of the scheme and him going on the other side of the ball because of trying to introduce the fullback back into the offense, he was one of the first ones to approach me and say, Coach, I'd like the opportunity to get on the field and play in some respect. And the fullback was a position that, as a tight end that we didn't have around here. So he took the role, embraced it, and just went from there. Coach Farigelli's done a good job with him and coaching him, teaching him. He can run, as we all saw. He can catch coming out of the backfield, and he's 220-something plus pounds where he can block. So, that's a fullback when you draw one up. So, plus he had special teams value. So I think he has a new lease on life, having a chance to caught his first touchdown pass and return a kick. Now he claims he's faster than everybody else on the team, so there's an issue there. But, I think he's having, he had some success this game, and those are the type of things that when a player has a little bit of success, play by play, game by game, then it hopefully becomes contagious to other players, and that's what we got to do. We got to try to put a string together of successful plays, which lead to successful games, which leads to winning games, which leads to turning things around. So. And Terrence is one of those guys that has gotten new life. Paul's done a nice job blocking and now catching the pass, and actually split two defenders on the way to the end zone, staying on his feet. Because in practice, we used to joke him all the time. He'd catch the ball and the turf monster would get him. But this game, he caught the ball, turned, stayed on his feet, split 2 would-be tacklers, and did a really nice job. So that's another young player that played that now is getting to the point of, of getting some games behind him. Unfortunate for Joe, but, fortunate for Paul. Jeremiah is a full-fledged tight end right now, and his, there's a couple things he had to learn before we could just put him into the game. So he'll play more, at tight end. He provides a pass-catching ability because he's very athletic. I said he played at the position at DeMatha High School. And so we'll start seeing more of him because he's learning the offense more. I mean, he didn't have the benefit of a spring practice. He had the benefit of getting ready, in the 2-week span. So we'll continue to improve his learning curve, and we'll see more of him.